Jesus Christ is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The love of God is extraordinary. Gave his life, paid the price. My King's Christ, extraordinary. Changed my life, made me right. Renewed my mind, is extraordinary. Wow, extraordinary. Jesus Christ is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The love of God is extraordinary. Gave his life, paid the price. My King's Christ, extraordinary. Changed my life, made me right. Renewed my mind, is extraordinary. A big gun, I got a big army like my God. It ain't nobody. I say nobody, I mean nobody. No weapon forming, I don't mean probably. Sometimes that beat come off like cocky. Don't knock my praise. Don't fly me, just watching the mind. You saying long way the Lord brought me, and I know I did wrong, but I know the Lord got me. Gotta lead a 99 to get one. I'm that prodigal, I'm that son. Should've had a funeral, have been in hospitals. I got lots of time, but got none. Just that switch lane, that pivot. Lord, I testify, cause I live it. And see, we hope we do, till we know we do. Saying won't he do it till he did it. Incontrovertible, my God is merciful, worshipful. What ends he made you, but what blood he purchased you? Whole lot of names, but only at the name of Jesus, demons bow, believers, you know it's true. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Now mind me, I'm just giving God praise. He promised to 1,000 generations, kept everyone good. God gets stuck in his ways. My God is extraordinary. Jesus Christ is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The love of God is extraordinary. Gave his life, paid the price. My King's Christ, extraordinary. Changed my life, made me right. Renewed my mind, is extraordinary. Wow, extraordinary. Jesus Christ is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The love of God is extraordinary. Gave his life, paid the price. My King's Christ, extraordinary. Changed my life, made me right. Renewed my mind, is extraordinary. My God is worthy. My soul was dirty. That birdie 30, that curly purdy. I cried, he heard me. I don't deserve it. My father gates looking awfully pearly. I transgressed, but I'm transformed. Storm came, but I stand strong. That other ground, that sinking sand. See, he the only thing that I stand on. Name one thing that he don't know. One thing that he can't do. Name one soul that he can't save. One thing he said that ain't true. If he is with you, then who should you fear? If you are fly, he is the air. He is the potter, and we are the clay, so we wouldn't exist if he wasn't there. Incomprehensible, not religion, not a ritual. Flow is like the flood, I keep it biblical. Danger, better watch yourself. There's no limit to his power, he is mystical. Good God Almighty, got a broken heart, sick, got a brick, got a body. Love is irrespective for somebody, nobody, golly, anybody. Extraordinary. Jesus Christ is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The love of God is extraordinary. Gave his life, paid the price. My King's Christ, extraordinary. Changed my life, made me right. Renewed my mind, is extraordinary. Wow, extraordinary. Jesus Christ is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The love of God is extraordinary. Gave his life, paid the price. My King's Christ, extraordinary. Changed my life, made me right. Renewed my mind, is extraordinary. The kingdom of God is at hand. Good morning and good evening and good afternoon and good night. Praise the Lord in the name of Jesus Christ. Today is a very special day. God bless our sister, Kelli Ann Hub. She's gonna be with us today, and she's gonna take us through her whole thing. It's really incredible. I'm gonna call her at the 7 o'clock hour because you know she's into the times and the dates and the moments and everything. We're gonna do it right. And so all your questions, make sure you load them up in the chat room. I'm going to get to as many of them as I can, but she's got her presentation, and we're going to follow her flow. All of her information is in the description box, how you can make a donation, and please support her research. We're going to be getting incredible communications coming from Trump and from Q, and it's going to be incredible, and you're not going to want to miss it because it's really game time, guys, in the name of Jesus. And the kingdom of God is at hand. And so God is working through the Patriots, through Trump, through John F. Kennedy. Shout out to all the Patriots, Jerry Foley, Jennifer Eason, Girl Cole, Pastor Brian, Pastor Joe, all of the digital soldiers out there putting it down for the red, white, and blue drip. All right. So let me prepare my phone so I can push the button at the very 7 o'clock hour. And it's going to be incredible. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. All right, we got 1 more minute. Salute to Juan Saving. God bless you, son. Peace and protection all around you. and to our president, President Trump. Trip. Salute to Maryland. Bella, God bless you, my sister. Peace and protection. Mother Price, God bless you. Peace and protection all around you in Jesus' name. And to all of the Patriot pimps, we watching you. You're next. But right now, we're going to let it slide because we got bigger fish to fry, but we're coming for you. Shout out to the chat room. Make sure you go to PrymeMinister.com and subscribe to the newsletter so you get all the latest drips. Okay? Now, let me get this thing out the way here. I got to make room for my sister. Here she comes. All right, let's see. All right, it's 7 o'clock. On the dot, I'm in the drop top. You don't know about that, bro. You're not from that drip. Usher drip.
And there he is, right on the dot. Hey, Pryme, can we do a little experiment? So here's the phone next to my ear. Okay, so you're hearing how I sound.
Okay.
Let me put it on speaker and see if it sounds the same, because I love to use my hands. But if not, we can just do it this way as well. So here it is, up to my ear. Okay. Test, test, test.
Okay, so in the chat room, hello? Okay, so in the chat room.
Yeah, I'm there. I just have to get to my other screen. Sorry. I don't know why it's doing this. Just a second. There we go. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so now here it is away from my ear. Which way sounds better? Number 1 or 2? Give me your hand signals because I have you muted on YouTube.
Okay, so I would say 1 sounded a little bit more clearer.
Okay, then here I am.
Sounds good. And I think they said it sounds okay both ways. So I mean, it's really up to you. I think they can hear you pretty well both ways.
Okay, it's up to my ear. I'll just do it this way. How are you?
I'm very good, my sister. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am so excited to be on your show, and I gotta tell you, I love your tunes that I was listening to as we were preparing to come over here. Also, want to let the friends know on the chat that I cannot look at the chat and do this at the same time.
Okay.
This is kind of why I don't do these kind of gigs.
Okay.
This is the 4th one within 3 years that I've done. Usually I'm just kind of working by myself doing my videos, right?
Right.
Kind of God and me, and producing those and then putting them out. So this is kind of fun. I got to get used to
yes.
Talking to people, right?
Yes.
So live.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
So, Pryme, thank you for asking me on here. You know what I want to do? And again, I don't know your audience mix. There may be friends in there who know me, and then people who've never even heard of me or are not familiar with my work. So what I wanted to do is do a little bit of groundwork, and I'm going to kind of steal from Juan for a minute in terms of a quote-unquote presentation.
Okay.
And just do a couple little snippets. We're going to look at a couple of short clips. When I say short clips, those are usually the videos that for 2 minutes and 20 seconds that I've produced over the last couple of years so I could put them on Twitter.
Okay.
So we're going to go over a couple of those, and we're going to kind of lay the groundwork to show how the communications, how I've been reading these Commz over the years, because what we're going to end with when I'm done with my presentation is this bombshell, and I kind of had shared that with, actually you and Jerry were sharing it a couple of days ago, where
Right.
I believe that President Trump once again confirmed what I had put out in a video. I had just put it out. He came back a couple of days later with his last press release and literally confirmed what I had put in the video regarding March 29th, okay? Now, some of the friends and maybe the people who've never been here before might be going, well, I don't want to just jump into that, because they may say, well, how do you know that President Trump is speaking to you? Well, okay, we're going to go over it. So, Pryme, what I've done, friends, is I've sent Pryme 7 different emails, and I'm going to kind of call out the numbers to him, and then he'll know there's a link in there where we're going to watch a short clip, and then also a graphic. I'm going to tell him which one to do first. So when I'm talking to him, kind of yelling out to him, giving him those cues, that's what I'm doing. So, Pryme, number 4 is up first.
Okay.
So go to the text message 4.
Got it.
And we're actually, I want you to bring up the graphic before the link, okay?
Okay, you want to put up the graph first. Okay.
Yep. bring up the little graphic there, and because we're going to actually take a look in the link, we're going to find this young woman who looks the spitting image of John F. Kennedy Jr. I mean, I saw it clear as day. And so we're going to go in just a minute. As soon as he brings up that graphic, you're going to see her on the right there. Look at it.
Okay.
Like the spitting image, Pryme. Check that out. I mean, that's like a mini-me of JFK Jr., right?
Wow,
I mean,
right.
He looks just like him. I mean, it's just crazy. So, Pryme, you can now get the video, go to the link and get it queued up, and then I'm going to do a little intro to it.
Okay.
So this was actually a rally. This is this is Exhibit 1 on President Trump, on how tricky he is. And, during the rallies, he brings up all these numbers. I mean, how do we really know that any of these numbers are really legit in terms of the subject he's talking about, right? Well, he's bringing these numbers up because they correspond with Q draws. That's what he's been doing for years. And this particular rally was on September 17th of 2019, and I remember it was in New Mexico. And you'll see in the video, in several times during the rally, President Trump actually turns around and acknowledges Carolyn Kennedy. That is Carolyn Kennedy, clear as day. And it's interesting because one part in the video where she kind of looks like she's almost ready to break up, he points to her and she does her heart. He was literally talking about the abortion issue and about the law and how they were going to try and, do a law to kind of come against the abortion, etc. And so he turned around specifically and pointed to her. So with that, we are going to let her roll. Pryme, if you can go ahead and let people jack up the music and let them watch it. 2.5 minutes long.
Loud and clear. Wow. Oh my God. Yo. Wow. That's crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. That's unreal. Oh my God, that's insane. That's
President Trump, tricky.
That was definitely Carolyn Kennedy.
Yes, but even their daughter, it was so funny because I watched her kind of glancing over towards her daughter and just laughing my head off. That is a little John F. Kennedy Jr. mini-me to me. I mean, it's clear as day. So now, Pryme, we are going to go to the message number 5. So go to number 5.
Okay.
And you are going to bring up the graphic.
Okay. right, there it is.
Okay, let me see. Is it explaining the last video? It should, right? It has the graph. Okay, so friends, when you see, okay, wait a minute. Yes, okay, that was actually my first video back on August 15th of 2018. For the new people, I was over on the HM board. Barr had done his post, and by the way, he did that on June 23rd, and now that we know how to read the Commz, if you do the mirror of it, okay, 623, and then you do the 326, what day of the year is that? That is November 22nd, President Kennedy's assassination date. This is the way they use the numbers. So the R post had gone out on June 23rd, 2018. I was over there on the R thread doing a lot of research for a couple of months, and then it started getting closed down. So I went and grabbed all of my personal research, all the graphics, etc. And then I said, you know what? I just need to start producing videos. So right here, this was my first video I had produced. And right now, all of my videos, over 150 of them, are on Dropspace. And that is one of the links in the description box that Pryme has set up. So the new people can go over there. And again, there's like 150 of them. And so
that's
now what
great.
we're going to do is we're going to talk about the music a little bit.
Okay.
What I had done is for the foundational videos, I had 33, and I specifically stopped on 33 just to kind of capture that number back. And that was when all the friends with Lens, we were all doing the basic research for the first year. And then we went on and I did 13, again, grabbing that number of the R pop-ins. And I had a particular intro music that I that I used during those videos, okay? Then about 21 months ago, I started with I used a new theme music from Filmora. It's a free music, but it was something I used on every video, the beginning of the videos for the last 21 months, okay? So as I was doing these videos almost 2 summers ago, I was doing a dark to light series. And this is why it's super important for people to come over to Dropspace versus YouTube, because even at that point, before YouTube was really censoring and throwing people off, I was investigating a live Pizzagate, and I got it from an article, and then before you knew it, I had 13 videos highlighting this Pizzagate in Chicago and all the Commz. And in the middle of that dark to light series, and again, the full videos are on Dropspace, they are not on YouTube, I realized that the White House, President Trump, etc., the White Hats were starting to communicate back to me. And that's where I started noticing the Commz coming back, okay? So from that point forward, 21 months forward, I had a new intro music that I was using, okay? And so now what we're going to do, Pryme, is we're going to go to message number 1.
Okay.
And I want you to first bring up the link. We're going to look at the link first. We're actually going to look, and again, this is out on Dropspace. It's 2.5 minutes long, and I called it. This is gonna blow your socks off for all my friends who know the spiritual journey I've been on. Like, God has totally been directing this. Wait until I share the graphic as soon as we watch this music. But I want to kind of set it up. So what happens is at the Platinum Awards. Remember, Pryme in Georgia, they had the Platinum Awards.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Right.
So my friends with Lens are awesome, right? They'll come to me and give me, Kelly, Someone came to me, and it is in one of my follow-up videos, and they said, Kelly, President Trump, they used your intro music as piano music to the awards. I said, what? So, and this was like October of last year, right? So I went, and I'm like, and I saw it, and then within the next several months, Dan Scavino, President Trump, Mark Levin, they're using this music that they set to orchestration. And what I did, when you're going to get ready to watch this We the People, I call it We the People's Anthem, as you watch this and you see the dates and you literally see the different graphics, etc., I didn't go and plant that in there. That is literally cut. I cut like each of the people who were bringing these clips, bringing this into their social media, and I just kind of, blended them into each other. So you will literally see Dan Scavino stuff, President Trump with Air Force One, Mark Levin, he had it on a show. This is all from them. Then you'll see the crescendo, and then you'll see the pointers to the Revolutionary War. So with that, Pryme, let her roll.
Got it.
They were spying on his campaign. They were trying to remove him from office in a coup. Criminal investigations based on no predicate. Then a phony impeachment. And now, of course, the effort to defame and destroy him as we all vote and get ready to vote. He is the only candidate that stands between us, those of us who love this, and them, those who do not. This is a different election.
Just absolutely amazing that the President of the United States, I believe obviously John F. Kennedy Jr. as well,
Right.
Putting orchestration to that music. I mean, it just blew me away. Like, wow. And of course, it's under the radar, right?
Right.
Because the whole JFK Jr. thing is under the radar. But when we see the Commz in our community, we've been going over this for years, we see the Commz coming back to us. I mean, they literally are sending Commz back to me, and they're telling me for the last, because again, I had started noticing it 2 summers ago, and then you fast forward a year,
right.
They were basically telling me, you're getting it right. You're reading the Commz.
That's what I was going to ask you. Right. That's what I was going to ask you. What you think it means? But it's pretty much that your revelations and your decodes are actually correct. That's what he's trying to say.
I think so, and even in terms of the last series that I've done, the Russia, Dan Scavino just keeps coming back to me with the Iron Eagle, right? I brought it up in the first part 1, and we go back and forth, and in fact, in my next video that I'm going to produce, I've got confirming Commz back from part 3 with the Iron. I mean, it's crazy. He's literally speaking to me, and so we're kind of throwing the ball back and forth. Okay. So again, I'm trying to lay the groundwork for people to see that President Trump, the White Hats, are communicating back to our community, back to us.
Okay.
And I'm getting the Commz and sending it back. Now, I want you to bring up the graphic with the same email with the People's Anthem. You see the Facebook graphic. I had discovered this 2 days ago, and it floored me. Now, for the people who are new to me, all of this has been a spiritual journey for me. The Holy Spirit is leading me. People think I'm connected. They think I'm Carolyn Kennedy, or they think I'm, somehow in the inner circle. As God is my witness, and again, if I was, I wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't say anything. I am not connected. This has been a Holy Spirit journey. It has been God's orchestration, and it's part of my testimony. When all this shakes out, This is going to be huge because it's been God directing me. So check this Facebook post out.
Okay.
Look at the date. Pryme, tell me the date that I put that out there.
All right.
Read it.
It says April, Kelli Ann Boatwright, April 20th, 2017. Got this in my spirit as I was waking up. We the people. I know it's the preamble to the Constitution, but I believe it is also used as a petitioning platform for the White House under Obama. Wouldn't be surprised to see something about this in the headlines soon. I get stuff like that.
What did we just watch? We the People's Anthem. I named it that. I found this Facebook post 2 days ago. And here's the other thing, and this is for my friends who've been with me from the beginning. 420. It was one of the only times, Pryme, that I had ever had in my spirit, like for me personally, like a reveal date. And this was way back in 2018. I got it like in October. And what I had seen when I was waking up, and I've shared it in like maybe 2 or 3 of my videos,
Okay.
I saw a double 420. A big 420 and a small 420. Now, this was before I really got into reading the numbers, etc. But 420 is DT, Donald Trump. Big 420, small 420.
Wow.
Okay? The basic Commz, all right? And so before I'd even look, and get this, future years past, 420 is also the Q drop with the Trump card. That's the date, 420. I had no clue on any of this. When I got it in my spirit in October. This was before Juan came on the scene in January and pretty much confirmed to me what I already knew about the numbers and we're redeeming the numbers and the Kennedy connections. Then he started interviewing with Field, 6 months after I was, well, maybe 5 months after I started doing these videos. And he confirmed to me what I had already kind of sensed. So the 420 is huge. And look at the date on this Facebook post. 420 talking about we the people. And we just watched We the People's Anthem.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Now we're moving along. I'm doing a presentation. So Pryme, go to email number 3. Okay. Now, not only is, obviously President Trump, Dan Scavino, the White Hats, etc., sending us Commz Q, right? But Q's been quiet for quite a while. But I'll tell you what, the epoch, and I used to pronounce it epic because I didn't know how to pronounce it, and then I heard one of their journalists, and he's like, epoch. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been mispronouncing it for like 6 months. Epoch times, the White Hats are sending us Commz big time, okay? Yes, I picked up on that. I picked up the Commz again. They bring it to me. I put it back. They bring it back, and I've done multiple examples in my videos. Now, what I want you to do first, Pryme, is bring up the graphic, okay? Here is a perfect example of what epoch does. Now, remember, on the board, the HM board, with all the Q drops, we have the bakers, right? We have the bakers and the breads, etc. And when you look at this graphic, in one of their headline articles just a couple months ago, they decided to use this little guy with the Kennedy blue around his collar, right? And I forgot what the headline was, but I brought it into one of my videos to show how they use the dates. They use the timestamps, the dates. They do the same stuff Q does, okay? Epoch Times is sending us Commz. I mean, here's the baker right in front, right? So it's like they were confirming to me, you're right. You can keep watching Epoch Times. So now what we're going to do, Pryme, is go to the link still in number 3, and we're going to watch another 2-minute and 20-second video. And this video I had put out on YouTube for less than 24 hours. It had 33,000 views, and then YouTube censored it. Literally took it down and gave me a strike. So on YouTube, all of my videos are hidden except for the last couple. Like whenever I do a new video, like I'll put it out there, I'll put it on Drop Space and say, okay, everybody, here's a new video. But everything else is hidden because I had tens of thousands of comments on there over the last 3 years, and I want to keep it for the historical purpose, okay? So that's why I do everything. I mean, everything's almost visible on Drop Space, all right? So within 24 hours, YouTube had censored me, took it down. And so now what we're going to see is the Epoch Times giving us Commz when the fencing started going up, etc. And that's what this video is all about. So you can go ahead and let her roll.
Okay, here we go.
I don't want to be afraid every time I face the waves. I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to
Let me then make clear, as the President of the United States, that I am determined upon our system's survival and success, regardless of the cost and regardless of the peril.
I'm not gonna be afraid. These waves are only waves. I'm not gonna be afraid.
I would hope that whatever he did do, that he would have some sense of responsibility for what went on. For an endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. We are not helpless before that task, but hopeless of its success, confident and unafraid.
Rise up in me. Let faith rise up. Oh, heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Rise up. Oh, heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Rise up, oh, heart, believe. Let faith rise up in
For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed.
So, yes, trust the plan, right? I've never deviated from it. And of course, we know the Kennedy connections and the Kennedy Commz and President Trump and Melania have been mirroring President Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy. That was some of the first research that we did on the R-Thread, right? Just seeing how Melania was wearing the same outfits, like going over to Europe, etc., that Jackie Kennedy was wearing. So we were bringing that up way, almost 3 years ago. So yeah, it's always about the mirroring of the Kennedys, and it always ties back to the Kennedy connections. Now, Pryme, we're going to go to email number 2. I'm going to just touch on these two really quick before we actually get into the decode with President Trump on the 3/29.
You said number 2?
When you go to number 2, I want you to bring up the graphic. And my friends, and especially the new people, when you see this multicolored, the neon pink and green and yellow, here's the newest details. What I'm doing is I'm trying to tell you that I've got a new video out, okay? And because YouTube now censors, I can only say so much. I have a little short description. I'll maybe talk for 5 minutes, and I'll tell people what that video is about, how long it is, and how, if they want the full-length video, they can send a donation, and then usually it's $10. And again, I just want to kind of put out there, I'll give you a little bit of history quickly. I have over 150 that I've done, free of charge. They're on drop space, and I never, in all those years before COVID, as God is my witness, I never asked for a dime, a like, or a subscribe on my YouTube channel, ever, okay? And my husband had been kind of encouraging me to maybe start asking for donations. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Then COVID hit, and literally, it was like I was backed into a corner, like we literally would have been out in the streets. And so I made a plea.
You don't have to, sister. Please. We appreciate, listen, sister. We appreciate what you do. God bless you. And people are excited to support you. Trust me when I tell you, I've got lots of emails of people are excited to support you. And it's not that type of party. We appreciate your work. So people are going to be supporting you proudly and happily. Don't worry about it. God bless you.
Thank you. And the link, and that's the other link in the description box, is to this last video with the Russia series. And again, the Q movement, here's what the Q movement is. To me, what it's all about is to think for yourself, to research, and to question everybody. Nobody gets a free pass in my book. Sorry, they don't. That's the one thing I've learned.
Right.
And I literally did this series. Now, you think I went out looking for that? No. I saw the Commz from President Trump when he was doing the interviews regarding Rush Limbaugh the day he died. I saw the Commz. I'm like, what the heck? And then I started digging. And then I found all the information, also with Tiger Woods, put it out there in 3 videos. I never thought it was going to be 3 videos. Each video is like an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, what the heck? But this is just the way it kind of unfolds. But I never thought that. But here's what I've learned. Guess what?
What's that?
I question everything. I take the clues that Q's given us, especially with symbolism, right? It's right there in front of our face. We never saw it. And the other angle I would say in terms of that, and it was during the Dark to Light series I was telling you about earlier, I was getting the communications that Pence was rogue. I went and put out like 15 of these short clips on it over like a year and a half.
Right.
Pence is key. Penske got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. President Kennedy started that. Penske got it. Did a whole video on it. Pence is key. Now we fast forward a year, and what happened? Pence was key on January 6th. So that's the kind of so I'm not afraid. I am not afraid to go and look and take a hard look at things. And and I'm okay with people not agreeing with me on stuff. I'm great with that. I mean, but you know what? I'm still, you're not going to trash me or come after me because I'm looking, because that's what I'm going to do, because that's what the Q movement is about.
Right.
Okay. Now, one more thing about the donation stuff, really quick. Some folks are using an old donation button from like a year and a half ago, like during the COVID, like a year ago, and that is not a good link to use. It's only a handful, but every once in a while they'll go over there. And so I'm just telling you, if you use those old links, I'm not going to see it, or I'm not going to get that, and you won't be getting links. You have to use the donate button, the link that is connected to this video right here that you see in front of you, that graphic, that link, whatever that link is right there, that's the current link. That's what you use. You don't use any old links. Okay? So I want to just kind of put that out there. Now, one more thing before we get into our President Trump decode. Bring up number 7. We're going to talk about Juan for a minute here. So bring up message number 7 and that graphic. And my friends, again, Juan, when he started doing his interviews, he literally confirmed what I was already sensing in my spirit. And then he gave me more, right? He was like I knew it was happening. But then when you listen to him, he's like going deep and telling you how the cabal, the deep state, look at certain things, right? And so I am really good about tucking away things. And so what I did is I made this video called Reading the Commz 101 and Connecting the Dots. And basically what I did is I kind of went through the year, because the days of the year and the numbers associated with it are huge in terms of the cabal. And there's different ways you can look at it. And of course, the mirroring, all of that is gigantic in terms of the Commz. And so I put this video together and kind of went through the major, almost like the calendar, going through and bringing up all of the different ways that the cabal uses it, why they're important, certain, dates and the links and all of that. Like May Day, for instance, was a perfect one that I brought in there. So that is a really good video. Again, it's a drop space. You can just go scroll down through the videos and you'll see it, to look at in terms of reading the Commz. But one will say then, and again, I'm going to put it out there for the record, all right? When I share things about Juan on any of my social media, I'm not inviting people to come and debate me on him, okay? I liken my social media accounts to like my front yard. I've got a little picket fence around it, and people can walk by my front yard and they can take a look in and kind of see what I'm presenting there, but they're not going to open the gate and come in and then trash what I'm presenting, because when I present it, I'm trying to put it out there for the historical record, and also for my friends. All my friends with Lens have been following Juan now since, almost, 2.5 years, I guess. I've been listening to Juan that long. I trust him. He's one of the few people in all of this that I trust, and I have great respect for him. Okay, so Juan O'Savin is a very highly respected person in my eyes, and I will not stand for anyone coming on any of my social media accounts and trashing them, because I'll block you like in 2 seconds. And I don't like to block, but my social media is for a positive encounter. Okay,
right.
And I want to do this for the historical record. So now what we're going to do, my friends?
Yes.
We're going to go to number 6. This is our last one, Pryme. But
okay.
What we're going to do, and I apologize to the friends who actually saw this, 3 days ago, but there's a lot of people who didn't see it, and they need to see it so they understand how President Trump confirmed this little short clip that I put in the Russia Part 3, the April 12th video. You just saw that highlighted.
Okay.
I put this in it, and then on April 19th, President Trump confirmed back to me. This is super important, and we're going to share it again, Pryme, okay? So you can go ahead and cue up it's 5 minutes long. I apologize, but it's really good. Oh. You have to look at it. And I do want you to notice one thing when I was reading his press release, when they talked about that he had set up his website with one black and white photo. Remember the black and white photos, Dan Scavino, etc., right? That's the throwback to President Kennedy. That's the Kennedy throwback. So here, President Trump had set it up, I believe, January 11th, with one black and white photo, and then he comes live on 3/29. Take a look at this, and then we'll come back with the decode.
Got it. Here we go.
Let it roll.
And yes, I am purposely referring to him as the President of the United States because I do believe he has been reinstated under the radar, and I will give you the gems that I'm seeing so you can see why I've come to that conclusion. Epoch Times put this out. Trump launches new personal website. Former President Donald Trump launched a new website on March 29th dedicated to preserving the legacy of his administration and his post-presidency activism. The 45office.com website was registered on January 12th, a week before Trump departed the White House. Aside from a basic black and white logo, the page remained blank until March 29th. Some of Trump's statements have been posted on donaldjtrump.com, a website that used to serve as the main portal for the Trump campaign. Notice also this header from Epoch Times. Supreme Court rejects bid to require Hillary Clinton deposition over email server. The Supreme Court on when? March 29th, turned down a request to require former Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton to testify in a case regarding the private email server she used to send classified documents while she served as Secretary of State. Well, there you go. Supreme Court is totally captured. But did you notice the date that this happened? As I had brought up in the prior videos, the Supreme Court has been using their key pivotal dates of the 1/11, January 11th, and the 2/22, February 22nd, to come back and reject key court cases that had been idling there regarding the election, brought by key figures like Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, and Mike Lindell. So the Supreme Court, in rejecting this case regarding Clinton and the email server, which is a whopper, and obviously if they're continuing on with their pattern, is saying that this date, this March 29th, is a key date. Why is that? Well, March 29th, the 2 and the 9 can also be seen as an 11. So we're back to our 311, which is their key number. All over the place. We keep repeating this and seeing this over and over again. So here's President Trump using this exact same date to make his website become active. It's been dormant for a while. Now it's active. And it just so happens that 3/29 is also, if you're looking at the day of the year, happens to coincide with what? November 25th, JFK Jr.'s birthday, which we've been covering in this video series. This is crazy stuff, but there's a double whammy right there. And his birthday falling on that other quote-unquote 3/11 is pretty amazing. So it doesn't surprise me that President Trump's website actually became active that day. Now, I believe it was the next day that Lara Trump actually interviewed her father-in-law, and this was a very interesting exchange. Listen very closely.
We're getting it out. I'm getting word out by using press releases. I put it out by a press release, and everybody's picking it up. It's more elegant as a, president, etc., etc. To me, it's more elegant.
Tricky as president, sending out press releases. Okay, very good. That just kind of cements it for me. And as I was pondering this for a few days, I went to look at a recent interview with Juan, and he basically helped me cement it even more. So I really do believe that President Trump was reinstated on March 29th. That's just my theory, just the way I'm looking at it, and I'm going to stick to it.
And so I said, all right, I lost. You're right. Trump didn't win, or at least isn't recognized, I should say, as president yet. And I believe that we will recognize that he's president. He will be back and put into that position. I think the military is going to do that if they haven't already done it. And I actually think it was already done several days ago. I don't know the exact day and hour.
So hold on to your hats, my friends, okay?
Wow.
Pryme, bring up graphic 1, and I'm actually going to read it out loud. Did you notice, though, how I had put in that video, I talked about President Trump giving us the clue with his daughter-in-law about the press releases, and it's tied to being president, right? Wasn't that kind of what I was highlighting in that little exchange?
Right.
So check this out. Tell me when you got it up, Pryme, because I have it big and I can't tell if you have it on the screen yet.
Okay, so this is the graphic for the one we just left.
Yep, we're still in that number. We're still in that email. We have 3 graphics in there. You're going to go to graphic number 1.
Okay.
And tell me when you have it up, because again,
it's up. It's up now.
It's up. Okay, so check it out. And by the way, this is the last communication in the press release that's there. Okay, so he hasn't put anything out since then. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America for 1921. If Joe Biden wants to keep our country safe from radical Islamic terrorism, he should reinstitute the foreign country travel ban and all of the vetting requirements on those seeking admission that go with it, along with the refugee restrictions I successfully put in place. Terrorists operate all over the world and recruit online. To keep terrorism and extremism out of our country, we need to have smart, common sense rules in place. Now, listen closely. So we don't repeat the many immigration mistakes made by Europe and the U.S. prior to Trump, in quotes. Okay? This is a key right here. Now, this is the way that to do the Commz. Pull up graphic number 2 for me, Pryme.
Okay.
I'm going to minimize this so I can see you again. There we go.
Oh, shoot.
But again, there's a little bit of a delay, so you have to let me know when it's up.
Okay.
Remember, the quotes, that's what I pick. That's when I go to Gematria a lot, right? If there's quotes in the Epoch Times or President Trump doing a quote, etc. When they do a quote, I put it into Gematria. And what do you see? Trump is equal to what?
88.
88. So, Pryme, go bring up graphic number 3. And let's see what day
wow.
of the year. Let's look. Hold on to your hats.
Wow.
This is what tricky. What date is it?
The 88th day of the year.
And what day is it?
March 29th.
And what are we talking about?
Trump being reinstated as the official president.
As president. And remember, he was talking about his press releases, right? In that little exchange there. And kind of alluding to the fact that he was president, because that was a couple of days. I remember Juan had his interview on April Fool's, so that would have been, 2 or 3 days after. And I think Laura had that interview with him like the day after, the 29th. So he literally was reinstated at that point. And here he is giving me the confirming information back in a press release, okay, in terms of the time right back to March 29th. What are the odds of that?
That's unbelievable. Okay? That's unbelievable.
This is the way President Trump communicates. These are Commz. And one more very interesting little tidbit to tuck away, and then I'm done with my presentation, is, JFK Jr., it's always about the Kennedys, right?
Right.
And obviously JFK Jr. is brought up in it quite a bit, but his birthday is huge. When was General Flynn pardoned? What day was he pardoned on?
I don't know. What day was it?
November 25th. Last year, JFK Jr.'s
JFK Jr.'s birthday. But how could they have planned that out? I mean, it's impossible. How could they do that?
Because they do. They have it all. Trust the plan, right?
They have it all scripted out from long ago.
They have it scripted. And one more thing about JFK Jr.'s birthday. The year before that, guess who got a medal on JFK Jr.'s birthday? And think, wow.
Who?
Conan, our hero dog. I did a little short clip on it, and it was on JFK Jr.'s birthday. These are the Kennedy Commz. These are the Kennedy pointers.
But how
we know?
okay, it's just
we know they're alive.
Right. Wow, this is incredible, man. Thank you so much, Kellyanne. This is incredible.
Yep. So I'm done with my presentation. You can throw questions at me if you want.
Okay.
Well, look at the chat because again,
I'll pick out a couple of questions from the chat. I'll put them up on the screen so you guys can let it fly. Kellyanne is taking questions. I'm going to throw them up on the screen.
Okay.
Let me see.
And remember, Pryme, I'm a couple of seconds behind you in a delay, so I mean, you can even start reading it because you'll see it before I will.
Okay. Okay, Commz. Okay, someone says, brilliant, Kellyanne. God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. So kind. It was so weird, Pryme, to hear you and Jerry talking about me the other day. I was on the chat.
Yeah.
It's strange, You know what I mean? Like, because I've done all these videos, like, in my little living room, just by myself. And then all of a sudden you guys, it was just weird. It was strange.
Yeah, well, I'm just amazed at how you picked up on all of these comms. I mean, it's really unnatural. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got to be super alert. But I guess it's a gift that God gave you, and you're just walking in it. I mean,
Thank you, Dana. It's tuckaways. I tuck everything away, man. Like, I will see stuff and then just tuck it away. And then later I'll kind of see the connectors, or I'll see something. I'll go right to it. Like literally, I'll go right to something from a year and a half ago. Now, don't ask me in all those 100 and something videos, like, where something is. Like, people come to me, what video is this topic or this, where you pointed this out? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I have no idea where everything is.
Okay, I have one question for you that looks good. It says May 20 by Karen Martin. She says, any significance in addition to the executive order 13848 ending?
Okay, I don't. Okay, wait. Let me look at this. GEO. See, I don't like. Okay, here's something I kind of want to put out too. I am not like an expert on all of these different topics, and in fact, even some of the Kennedy angles, right? There are certain angles that I have not gone down the trail on, and I am not an expert on. Other people are doing research, and so I publicly won't even comment on certain angles because I don't know, right? I don't want to put something out there if I don't really know how I feel about it, but I'm not going to, disclaim anything or put my thumbs down to anybody.
Okay.
So the Nasara and all of that, I kind of stay quiet on because I'm not an expert on it. Now I have listened to Juan talking about the subject, and so of course, highly respecting Juan, I'm going to be kind of leaning in the way that he's going. So if you want to get more specifics about that, listen to some of his, interviews. And then Sunshine's asking, is Juan O7 JFK Jr.? We all have to kind of make up our own mind. And I've got back and forth so many times on it. But I do believe there may be more than one Juan O7, just like there's more than one Vincent Fusca. You got to remember that these masks and these disguises, and, in my videos, my foundational videos, we researched and we saw where JFK Jr. was very proud of the fact that he and, I think it was it Barlow, John Perry Barlow, that they would go to concerts in disguise and very proud about it. And he was dressed up as a woman one time, okay? So, and now you fast forward 20 years and you look at the sophistication of these masks, etc., right? Could the person who was in Las Vegas, could that be a JFK Jr. with a mask on? Could the person who we see with the hand and the leg and the tapping, could that person be separate from the voice that we're hearing? Could they have modulators where they're using technology to modulate voices? And obviously, one person, two different people could have the same modulation if they can kind of key it in that way in terms of technology. Could it be two different people? I mean, you got to think outside the box. How do we know that the person that we're watching, his leg, is the same person who's speaking, right? And again, the sophistication of the mask. Okay, Pryme went and saw Juan O7 the one time in Las Vegas. Okay, so again, could this have been JFK Jr. with a mask on? Sure, he went and did a presentation in front of all you guys for a couple hours and hung out with you. So he has his mask on. I mean, I think that JFK Jr. uses some of these characters, and I think they're really based on real people, like the Vincent Fusca. He kind of pops in and pops out. Now, I got to tell you one other thing in terms of the movie The Call. When Jennifer Mack, when I was watching, the whole, it's too, the sorry, it's too late to apologize, and I was watching that, and I saw her dressed as Vincent Fusca, kind of hiding in the shadows, and all of that in Dallas. It hit me like a ton of bricks what Vincent Fusca stood for. Because, you see him in the rallies, and he's got, all this, unshaven, right? He's got this long kind of weird, freaky hair with a fedora hat. It's almost like he's caught in a time warp. Like he never grew up. He never was able to progress, right? Normally, like he's caught in this era.
Right,
and
in the
it
era.
hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Vincent Fusca is all about. And it ties in with Juan's presentations and what he's saying. We've been captured and kind of frozen by what happened on November 22nd. It just hit me. So yeah, I mean, think about it. If this Vincent Fusca was a real normal person, I mean, just like you, me, right? Would he be going to these rallies and always showing up kind of in the same outfit, the same fedora? He's got an unshaven face. His hair is kind of, no haircut, right? Would he? No. It's a character. So yeah, there's more than one Vincent Fusca because people seem different heights. So is there more than one Juan O7? I think there is. That's just my theory. What about you, Pryme? You were there.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to make one confession for the people drip. Okay? Right. When I first got to the hotel, I'm really... I'm really not expecting him to come to the hotel, feel me? So I'm thinking maybe I'll see him at an event, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case. So I get to the desk and I call because at that time I hadn't had his number, so I was talking to him through Jerry. So I was like, Jerry, what's up? Is he here? Whatever. I said, well, I'm at the desk, so he lets me know. Okay. He said, go meet him at the desk. He's about to come and get you, because he took care of all of our hotel rooms. I mean, he treated all the patrons great. He treated us like American Roy. He treated us great. And so he made sure I had a room. So he comes to the front hotel desk. So I'm like, oh my God, like I'm thinking like, okay, I don't want to like stare at this dude, but like what? Because I'm trying to, because back then I didn't see his face before, so I didn't know what to expect. So I'm thinking, I don't know, what John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to come out plain face. So I see another person with a different look, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at him. I said, no, he doesn't look like John F. Kennedy, but he does not necessarily look like John F. Kennedy either, because I know what they can do with the mask and everything. So I'm looking without actually staring. So I'm just looking, but let me tell you what I saw. I saw the shoulder lean drip. You know what I'm saying?
What?
The shoulder lean. You know, John F. Kennedy has a way that he kind of like leans, like a cool kind of, like a cool guy, like where he leans with his shoulders. If you ever seen him talking, he'll sit down at a table and it's kind of like he'll lean forward, like he got a cool lean. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's hard, you know, when you put your elbows on the table and you kind of like lean with your shoulders like that.
Right.
And so when he went to the desk, he kind of leaned like that. He had that that Kennedy lean. I was just looking. I didn't stare, but I looked real quick, and I was like, because I used to do the documentary, so I used to see these images over and over when he's on the talk shows in the different places, and he always kind of has like a little, like a lean. I don't know how to explain it when he puts the elbows. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. And of course, the other cool thing is he literally Morse coded that he's JFK Jr. right on your show. That's hilarious. And you know what's really funny? And I didn't share this. I think I shared it in my video, but I forgot to kind of highlight this. But when he does his little Morse code, he does double tap I, and then he does his one, tap, which is 5, E, 5. Then he brings, this is interesting, then he brings his hand way back, and it's almost like the plane diving. And he does the second 5, the second E, and then he does the 1, 2, 3. Like the plane diving, right? Supposedly he, quote unquote, died. And remember, his death certificate is the 3, 2, 1, right? So Juan's going to do the 1, 2, 3, and then you mirror it, the 3, 2, 1, and then he very slyly points at that kid in the fedora hat on the front of his book, Kid by the Side of the Road. I'm JFK Jr., Kid by the Side of the Road. The death certificate. It was huge.
You know all of these symbolisms, and I was telling the audience the other day, I said, a while back somebody sent me something in my DM, and I think it was a patriot. Who knows? I don't know who it was, but they sent me something. I kept, because I was asking the question, was there a connection between Jesus Christ coming back and and John F. Kennedy? Was there something going on with that? And somebody sent me a message, and it was like, there is, but it's not the way that you think. It's not the way that you think it is, but it is a similarity. And I wrestled with that for a long time, trying to understand. But then when I realized that they're kind of playing this back from the dead type of thing with Kennedy, like he's returning back from like a resurrection, and Jesus also kind of walked around in the disguise for a long time, and he's right there amongst you. He's right amongst the people. And then he reveals himself. But of course, when he reveals himself, he's in power and glory. But while he's in his disguise, you think he's just some regular guy. So you even got a lot of weenies out there, by the way, Kellyanne, who even have the nerve to disrespect the man because they don't even fully understand who he is. So they're, this is just Juan. Juan, I don't agree with Juan. And here you are. You very well may be talking to the man with the plan, Drip.
Exactly. And you know what? Here's another thing too. Yeah, I can't handle the disrespect in regards to him. Like on the presentations that he does, people get in there and it's all about them. Oh, I've heard this. It's like there's new people coming to the whoever channel it is. He's trying to appeal to a lot of different audiences. And if you've heard it, then just mosey along and go somewhere else. You don't have to go there and disrespect him. I mean, and here is a perfect. And I'm actually going to bring this up. I've been collecting some Juan stuff because it really grates on me when people are disrespectful of what he's done, what he's doing. Whether you believe he's JFK Jr. or not, this man is plugged in. Okay, he has put a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy into getting this out, doing the books. I mean, it was like 12 books. I got 2 books. I mean, crazy, right?
Yeah.
So he's been doing a lot for all of this, and I just, you know, for people to disrespect him, I have no.
He's really a good guy too.
That. And here's the other thing: he's communicating and comms people, and this is what I'm going to bring up in one of my next videos. This is huge. Right after, you know, the National Guard started gathering in Washington, D.C., he literally, I think he was with Michael Jaco, I think that was who he was on, and he's sitting here and he's going, well, and like something didn't happen by, I guess, the 6th, so people were mad. Juan's a fraud. Juan doesn't know what he's talking about, right? So here he is, and he's talking about Jennifer Mack. He goes, you know, I feel so bad for Jennifer because, you know, she called me at 4:30. Her YouTube channel was taken down at 4, and I'm throwing a number out, I can't remember which one it was, at 4:13 in the morning, and, you know, she has all of her life behind that. And you know what the first thing I did? You know, here's everybody. Why did the 6 go by? And, you know, and everything's not turning out like we thought it was. And so, you know, the first thing I did, I went over to YouTube to check and see if Jennifer Mack's, you know, channel is still there. Guess what? It was still there. So, I mean, it's like, hello, radar, blink, blink, blink. Juan is communicating to you. And whatever number it was, he used it. And I have a little short clip on it. So if you want to go through, drop space and find it, it's there. But the number he brought up twice in this interview. And it had to do with the military. He was telling us through Commz what was going on in Washington, D.C. But people were not learning to read the Commz and going to check, is Jennifer Mack's, because what that would tell you is, wait, Jennifer Mack's channel is still here. I literally am on it. Yet he's telling me it's gone. Something's not jiving. Maybe he's trying to communicate something to us. Maybe I should look in another angle. Maybe I should check that out. But that's the way he speaks in Commz. So people who get upset, you know, the whole April 1st thing, guess what? I said, he did not lose that bet, because I remember what he said. I've been listening to him. And he said that people who had voted for Biden would feel like the fools, okay? He never said that Donald J. Trump would be front and center in there. He never said that Joe Biden wouldn't. That was the main thing that he had told, you know, that I kind of remembered from it. And again, March 29th, Wednesday, April 1st, 2 days later. So, did Juan win the bet? I believe he did. And that's before I put the 329 together. I was already saying, no. He did not lose any bet. Trust me. Because he speaks to us in Commz. You know? And if people can remember that and be respectful, even when something doesn't go the way they think it should go in terms of the way it's going to kind of unravel. I mean, and that's one of the things I've been really cognizant of trying to throw out to people to think about over the last almost 3 years. People would put dates on stuff like, okay, for sure, you know, this is going to happen here or there or whatever. And I always like, y'all, don't put firm dates out there. We don't know. But just because something doesn't meet your timeline or your date, like people would say, if he's not out by July 4th, then I'm done with this John F. Kennedy Jr. thing. I'm like, okay, him not appearing on your timeline does not make him less alive. Okay? So be patient, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, right? And know that it's going to happen one day. Okay, I know that because he has a calling on his life. Tim Clement prophecy, you know, the 2 Kennedys being resurrected, that's actually in the Tim Clement prophecy, okay? And a calling like that on your life, you're not going to be able to run from the Holy Spirit, trust me, okay? So he will eventually be front and center. Now, when is that going to happen? It could still be 2 years from now, y'all. But you know what? I'm staying on the course. I'm not deviating. I'm continuing to historically make a record, right? So that we have that for the future. And I'm going to stay on track. And I'm not going to be discouraged because it's not happening on my timetable. So there you go.
Got it. Well, thank you very much, Kelly. And I think, you know, you started many of us down a new rabbit hole, a new way of interpreting and a new way of listening. and I don't think we were all kind of wired that way. So we want to really thank you for what you're doing. You're really teaching us how to look and to listen differently.
Thank you, Pryme, so much for having me on here. I need to do this more often so that I can get, get practiced up, I guess, for, talking, doing live things like this. I mean, seriously, this is the 4th time in 3 years.
Yes.
That I've been live like this. So it's new to me. It's exciting. I get super excited. Like at first I kind of get nervous about it. And then once I start going, right? I get all excited. I feel like I'm doing a video right now.
Well, the platform is always open to you, and I'm sure there's plenty of patriots who, I know, obviously Jerry and Jen and all of us are going to open up the platform to you to help you get the message out far and wide.
Yep. So anyways, friends, until I'm going to be working on a next video, but you know how now to access the videos, and I'd love to come on, everyone, like I said, Pryme, to come on and just do little live decodes. I just did it right now for everybody. That is not in the video yet. It's going to be my next video, but you got it right here. President Trump confirming that he was reinstated on March 29th. That's the way I read that.
Well, thank you very much, Kellyanne.
Okie doke. Thanks, Pryme. It'll be exciting to look over this once it's done, and I'll look at all the comments.
Loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless.